Hey guys, it's your good buddy Doc here, and we're gonna try something just a little bit different with this video. This is Spider-Man, the complete Black Costume Saga Omnibus. So I wanted to show you guys the cover, which is this awesome cover by Ron Frenz, and it was inked by Klaus Janson. It was originally the cover to Amazing Spider-Man 252, and it graces the cover of this particular edition. Then the spine, you can see, has got this cool black and white look to it. Marvel Omnibus, Spider-Man, the complete Black Costume Saga. And then if you flip it over to the back, and it shows all the different covers of these issues. So you have ASM 252, Marvel Team Up 141, Spidey number 90, and all the other different books that are included in this volume, which it shows here: Amazing Spider-Man 252 through 263 and Annual 18, Marvel Team Up 141 through 150 and Annual 7, Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man number 90 through 100 and Annual 4, and then Web of Spider-Man 1, which is this awesome cover, this Charles Vess cover right here. So you see that it was printed in Turkey. Let's see what they've got on the inside, guys. This is one massive, massive book. So you open it, and I'm pretty familiar with a lot of different illustrations with the black costume, but I have no idea where this came from, but I really like that. It's got Peter Parker struggling against the symbiote. Okay, and here you have the contents page. Let's see if you guys can see both of the pages. Let's try to move it over here a little bit, and then we'll move this out just a hair. So on this page, you've got excerpts from Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars 8 and 9 in issue 12, and then you start in earnest with issue 252 of Amazing Spider-Man. And then on the second page, because like I said, I know you can't see all of it, then it goes all the way through Spec Spidey number 100 and Web number 1. So here you see that Spider-Man's costume has been damaged in Battle World, and somebody had found a machine that would give him a new costume. And he says, "Hey Hulk, which one of these machines is it?" And so he gets this black glowing ball that gives him a whole new look on life, which is a really, really awesome design for a new costume. It goes very far away from where Iron Man was when he designed the Silver Centurion costume. It's, that still looked like Iron Man. On the other hand, this does not. This looks like something completely different. The only real thing that you still have is these big giant eye holes for him to see in. So I'm not gonna go through this whole thing, but you get to see Peter Parker still struggling in his dark room. This is art by Ron Frenz, and I think Brett Breeding was the inker. Let's see here. It's just cool to have all of these stories collected in one volume, because I personally haven't had the pleasure of owning Marvel Team Up 141 or Spec Spidey number 90 until about 2 years ago. Those two were holes in my collection, but now I've managed to get a hold of them. And that cover, we'll go back to this cover here. Let me see where it was at. Right there. Slide this over just a little bit so you guys can see it as well. And here comes the new black suited Spider-Man. And this was Tom DeFalco as writer, Jim Owsley as scripter, Greg LaRocque as the breakdown artist, and Mike Esposito as the finisher. So I'm really excited about this because it's got everything, right in here where it's an easily accessible volume. That's the same reason I was excited about the DeMatteis and Salmasima volume that I got a couple weeks ago. I don't have to go digging through my long boxes, or soon to be. My wife helped me a little bit yesterday, putting them all in the filing cabinets, so I don't have to go back through and dig for those individual issues if I don't want to. All I have to do is just open this big, thick volume up, and like I said, you can see that I've got a significant amount of table now so that I can actually read these things and don't have to have them hung out over a knee or my lap or something like that. So if you've never really understood the stories of Peter Parker before this symbiote became a Venom, this gives you all of the backstory that you could ever want. It goes from the beginning of when first when the symbiote showed up, all the way until you get towards the back. Let's see if I can find it here. I know it's way back here. All right, so we're getting towards the end here with Spectacular Spider-Man number 98. Let's see if we can find where this one is going to be number 99. So let's keep going, Guys, it can't be overstated how cool it is to also have these books where it's white pages. Here we go. Here's Al Milgrom as writer and penciler, and then Jeff Isherwood and Vince Colletta as finishers. But where we're trying to get is the very last issue in this volume, and it is, like I said, guys, that's an amazing cover by Charles Vess. I'm not even going to bother trying to describe it, but the colors are vibrant, they pop, and it would have been really cool to have collected that when it first came out on the shelf. That would have been a really cool cover to have. But at that point, I was all of about 3, possibly 4, and I didn't start collecting for about another 5 years. So you get to see this Web of Spider-Man issue, and this is written by Louise Simonson with art, again, by Greg LaRocque. So Greg didn't do too many issues of Spider-Man, but he still had that classic feel to him. You get to see the costume taking flight, and he says, I've got to have some help. So he's got this winged fella that looks somewhat like the Vulture. So he tells him to go on. He's like, yeah, you may be a crook, but I don't want your death on my conscience. And so he's trying to get the black costume off of him. And he knows that sound will hurt the costume. And eventually it disembarks from him. But it still saves Peter from dying, because those bells are extremely loud. And in a wild, wicked twist, it's almost like the costume kissed him on the way out and said, you know what, if you don't want me, then that's fine, but just know that I still am here for you. So once that story is complete, you get these original costume sketches by Rick Leonardi from Marvel Age number 12. And it says the black costume was overall designed by Mike Zeck. So here you get red instead of just black and white. You get a red design. And then you also get to see that he doesn't have to have his web shooters anymore, Instead, it comes from the costume. You get this neat one-page, you know, pin-up type thing that looks like both costumes. The Hobgoblin, talking about him, the Blob. So you get some promotional material back here. You get to see some of the original pages from Amazing Spider-Man 252, art by Ron Frenz and Brett Breeding. And then you get a forward here. That was from another book from Jim Salicrup from 1988. And then the covers. And my first introduction to some of these issues, I actually had this trade and still have this trade paperback. It was the Saga of the Alien Costume. It was the second printing. So it was Ron Frenz and John Romita Sr. on the art. You can see some of this awesome McFarlane artwork. And then Ron Lim started doing the covers to Marvel Tales. And you get to see the costume coming at Spider-Man here in this cover. Jack-o'-lantern. Cool Puma cover. I always thought Puma was an excellent character, and you haven't seen Thomas Fireheart in years in the main books. That's a pretty cool cover by Ron Lim. The secret of the Venom's alien costume is revealed. The Wrath of the Hobgoblin. And don't forget about the Spider Kid. And let's see what else we've got here. That's a pretty cool colored variant of this same cover that's on the front of this book. And then Cloak and Dagger, Crime and Punishment, and Essential Peter Parker Volume 4 covers. And that's pretty much it. Give you guys a look at the eye of the book right here and let you see what it looks like when it's open. And the last thing is, I didn't even take the dust jacket off of this thing. So let's see what the cover looks like. Okay, we've got that Ron Frenz and Joseph Rubinstein cover all there, which is pretty wild because that magenta just pops. It absolutely pops. I would like to have had a little more skyline behind there, but overall, it looks very, very awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm not planning on picking up any more omnibus books for a while. I just got this one because I've always wanted to have those Black Costume issues collected into one volume so that I didn't have to go searching and digging for such things. But let me know in the comments whether you guys like the format of this video. I'm going to try to do some more top-down shots when the time comes when I have larger videos like this, so that as I'm talking, you still get to see all of the artwork. You don't have to see it from far off. You don't have to guess what it is that I'm looking at, but instead, you can see it kind of in a first-person perspective, top-down shot. So, thanks, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have the opportunity, go out and pick this up at your LCS. I think it came out a while back, but I ended up having to email my local shop and say, hey, I ordered this book from you guys a while back and I haven't seen it yet. So do you have any idea when it's going to come out? And about the same time I was picking up the Sal Buscema book, then they mentioned that they had it. So I said, okay, well, give me a little while to kind of, get ready for that money-wise, and I'll come pick it up. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me again. This was Doc Lale Talks Comics. If you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel yet, please like this video. It helps the algorithm and helps build this channel with each and every new video, and I try to provide you guys with awesome new content each and every day. So Like it, subscribe if you would, and we'll keep growing this channel one person at a time, one subscriber at a time. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.